Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Panther Chat. My name is Jim Phillips. I'm the admissions counselor here at Kentucky Wesleyan College. And today we're going to be talking about the fitness and sports management program with Dr. Jim Flaherty. Dr. Flaherty, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. My name is Jim Flaherty. I am from Alabama and went to the University of Alabama. I have a PhD in exercise physiology. I spent most of my career in New Orleans. I worked at Tulane University, was in the biomedical engineering department and exercise science department, and also did some work with the medical school, both Tulane Medical School and LSU. I have been other universities. I spent, 6 years at West Liberty University. And as I begin to, I don't know, you can't say mature, but as time went on, the emphasis went more towards students than research. Tulane was a huge research institute. So I was looking for a place that was a small college, and having researched it, this looked like an excellent place. And here I am, and I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I didn't know you were from Alabama. That's awesome. Roll Tide, right?
Roll Tide.
So my first question for you is, what led you to the academic program you are currently teaching and researching in?
Twist of irony here, what led me to this program. I didn't know such a program existed when I started college, exercise physiology. I didn't care much for anatomy and physiology, but if it's true that you don't know what you had until it's gone, then it must also be true that you don't know what you've been missing until you find it. And I found it. I took a course in exercise physiology, and the body all of a sudden became alive. All of the intricacies, all of the systems working together just amazed me to a point where, it became passionate about it. So I found it. And having said that, our students come in very often not knowing for sure what they want to do. And I see it as part of my is helping them find it and exploring all the areas within exercise science, which is huge.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree that the human body, the way it just works and functions as one unit, just absolutely amazes me. Another question for you. Yeah, another question for you is, what are topics and classes that our students will dive into with the fitness and sports management major here at Kentucky Wesleyan?
Some of the courses, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like some of the courses are different topics. Yeah.
All right. Exercise physiology, of course. I am more in the sciences, electrocardiography, exercise prescription for special populations. Those that are going into the fitness wellness side take courses in management, sports management, which kind of translates into not only sports management, but branching out. When the department's name, you think of sports, but actually our field is increasing movement. Anywhere from a person that is post-op coronary artery bypass to a world-class athlete. How can you increase their performance? That's the question. So there's a clinical aspect of it, and then there's the top-end aspect of it, and that's a pretty big bell curve. And that is, they get a little bit of each in the beginning, and then focus in on what they want to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just crazy. You talk about the sports performance part with the fitness management. And I can't imagine the training, how much it was different from pro athletes in the 1970s all the way to now. I could just being a former athlete myself, it just blows my mind how far the science has come with that.
That's an excellent point. And I was fortunate in New Orleans. I had a professional lab, human performance lab. Athletes from everywhere came in, top-notch athletes, and my job was to spot the flaw. You're not looking so much for their strongest points. You're looking where that weak link is and trying to fix that. And I'm like you. Every year records are broken, and I'm just amazed by that. But if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're still right. We're beginning to touch the mind, getting the mind and body together. So going back to some of those lectures, one is psychophysiology. The mind and the body working together. And that's another amazing phenomenon to me, and one that we haven't really explored like we have from here down.
Yeah, and you actually just had a great transition point in my next question. So at Wesleyan, how can our students have opportunities to do hands-on learning, both whether it's on campus or off campus with this major?
I'm glad you asked that question. I am a big believer in hands-on. And when I first got here, I had in my mind, the way that I like to present this material. And it's having your classroom in your lab so that you can go directly from sitting listening to a lecture for the first 15 minutes to picking up some skin calipers and taking body fat. I try to use labs as much as possible. You use many senses as you can to learn something. And when they put their hands on it and do it, because that's what they're going to be doing when they get out there in the workplace. And preparing them to do that here is going to put them way above others. And plus, they love it. They love it. When you see someone try to take a blood pressure and they're listening for that cortisol sound, and they're listening, they can't hear it, and they can't hear it, and boom, they hear it. I don't know, it's something just about you see on their face of a sense of accomplishment, and that's something that we really stress here. Let's put our hands on it and do what it is that you're going to do in the field. Go out there prepared.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And just being able to do that hands-on stuff, that's only going to help you more outside of the in-class work. So with that, with all the hands-on learning and lab time, what kind of internships have you been able to see Wesleyan students be able to take because of this major?
We had some outstanding. I'm going into my second year, so this was my first year. But I was very proud of our students with their internships. We had one young fellow, very bright, very passionate about his work, that wanted to be a strength coach. And he studied, this guy he was a pleasure to have in class. Was offered an internship at University of Louisville. After the internship, they hired him. And it's hard to break in to college like that. But he is now on their staff. Others, we have physical therapy. Many people want to go into physical therapy. And let me just say this, it may be off point, but if you want to go into physical therapy, the day you walk through that door, that's the day you start preparing yourself. Because physical therapy is not that easy to get into. And there are things that often aren't told about, like prerequisites and what have you. But we have several physical therapists here and in Evansville, and some choose to do it actually back home. where they can do that. So we've been really building that up and working on it, and I think it's essential.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's, I think that's the most important thing, is just preparing them. And then with those internships, you never know, they could lead to jobs, just like our student at Louisville. So with that, what other, after they graduate, what kind of careers have you seen people with a fitness and sports management degree go to? What kind of grad schools, and then what kind of jobs just in general have they been able to accomplish?
Very good. I've seen everything from, okay, think about it. We're studying the human body. We're studying the human body. So companies that sell medical devices, I'm just starting with London, kind of, if you wouldn't think of it, sell medical devices, hire our students to be a medical liaison. They know the terminology, they know the body, and let's say this company makes pacemakers. So they will go to the hospital where the patient is receiving the pacemaker and be the liaison between the company and the medical staff there. You have your hospital wellness centers. This is something that is just recently come about. Hospital wellness center, what a great idea. It's for the community, which is good PR for the hospital. But the big thing is, many people, well, most all that have, say, like heart surgery, will go to a phase 1 and a phase 2, which is monitored exercise. All right, and they get really in shape, but you can't just stop. So they transition from the clinical to the hospital wellness center. In the hospital wellness center, the intention is simply this: keep them well, keep them healthy. I mean, that is great for the person, but look at the hospital. You don't want people return. You want them healthy. Corporate fitness is another. Corporate fitness is, many corporations are self-insured, so they're vested in keeping their employees well. Corporate fitness is popping up everywhere now. Sports management, my brother happens to be in sports management at the professional level. He's a vice president of one of the pro soccer teams. I guess I learned more from talking about him, about what they do, but the management aspect of a pro team or college, whatever, there are so many things that are happening behind the scenes that you don't see. And what an interesting field.
Yeah, all of those seem extremely interesting, and sounds like, once you put the work in throughout the classroom, different things, you definitely, get the reward at the end of having a job that you would love and be able to put a lot of time and effort into. So another question I have, just a few more questions. One of them is, what are a few of your favorite things about the program here at Kentucky Wesleyan from your point of view?
Well, it's always good to have support from your administration. And coming in, there were some changes that I wanted to make. Our dean, Dr. Deanne, she is very supportive and bought into the idea of, let's create a lab classroom where we can, go from one to the other. The students are great. The faculty seems to all work together. It's just a good place to be.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I've heard just students in passing talk about how much they enjoy the fitness and sports management program, and kind of, what a pleasure it is to be in your class, even though it was kind of cut a little bit short this academic year. But I know a lot of them are very excited to get back this fall and see you in the classroom again.
Oh, as am I.
So my last question for you before we kind of say our goodbyes is there anything else you'd like to add about the fitness sports management program to any future Panthers that are out there?
let me say this, and you won't find this under Bloom's taxonomy or, how to teach or whatever. There's a word, and that word is care, caring about a person. I can look back when my first grade teacher taught me how to read my first book, and she cared about me. And my 12th grade teachers told me I had talent. She cared about me and inspired me to go to college. In college, the professor that stands out really cared. So I believe that really caring about the individual is, it's not something that like is mandated. We don't have meetings on caring for people or whatever, but when it comes from the heart, that's something real. And there's a lot of people around here that care. And if I could just say, that rears its head when you're advising. Advising is extremely important because you're helping that person find their pathway. And I take that very serious as well. And I know others around here do. So, and one last thing, I know I'm long-winded, but I really love this. There's a difference in doing the right thing and the acceptable thing. I have found that Kentucky Wesleyan, when they put it on paper and say they're doing this, they're doing it. And that hasn't always been the case throughout my career.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's what's so different about a small school. It's really family, and everybody cares about one another, whether it's staff to the student, student to student, faculty to staff, faculty to student. Everybody cares, and that's what makes it such a unique place versus a bigger university.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And how fortunate we are to be in a situation like we are.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, that is the end of this Panther chat about the fitness and sports management program. Dr. Flaherty, I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. And any of you future Panthers, I look forward to meeting you and greeting you and helping you through your matriculation here. And it's an honor and pleasure.
Absolutely. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we hope you have a great day.